Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are, 6 months later from our nice little hiatus. We are Tabletop Anthologies, and with me, as always, the amazing crew. Today we are playing War Stories, a story about a tank crew in an M4 Sherman called Blackjack as they prep for the invasion of England. So I would like to welcome everybody. Say hello, class.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, class.
See. All right. So today, I guess we'll get started with the intro, and then as we move along in this intro, you guys will have a chance to introduce your character here. So give me 1 second. Let me get a little bit of a classic swing going. Let me know if that sounds okay.
Nice.
Okay. So, after the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the United States declared war on Japan, Germany, and Italy. They followed suit and declared war on the U.S. right after. A few days later, the nation became fully engaged in the Second War. The U.S. involvement in the Second World War was quickly followed by a massive mobilization effort. Welcome to the Army, soldiers. You all joined up mid-1943 for one reason or another. You decided that riding in the belly of a steel beast was better than hoofing it in the dirt or jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. After 13 weeks of basic training, you were shipped to Fort Knox for armored school. For 8 weeks, you guys learned how to operate, drive, shoot, and maintain those tanks. More specifically, the M4 Sherman. Every one of you were trained on the jobs in each of the seats. However, after some time, you all found your niche within that tank, and that is now your position. Congratulations, gentlemen. You've graduated and are now full-fledged U.S. Army tankers. With the U.S. now pushing its way into Sicily, it isn't long until you receive your orders. Now, 3 of you went through all that training together, and that was our driver buddy guy, our loader Calvin Horner, and our bow gunner Everett Sweet Pea Pines. Now in Sicily currently, we have 2 other characters. That's going to be our tank commander, our TC, Kris Knoblauch. Did I say that right? Knoblauch? Knoblauch. You're muted there, sir. Yeah, you're muted there.
I was
Forlath.
muted. Yeah, that's the English pronunciation is Knoblauch, like the baseball player.
Okay.
Germans call it Knoblauch. It's German for garlic.
Okay.
Because
And then-
I'm offensive and smell mildly.
Maybe you smell good. Did you ask that? And the other one in Sicily with the TC is Joseph Ojos Bishop. So, we're going to start with our boys in Sicily, since they're the ones fighting the good fight. And we'll start with our
Can I
TC.
just interject, just
Yes.
out of character here for a second?
Sure.
First of all, this background is amazing. That is so cool. I love it, the screen.
Thank you.
And secondly, Hades, it looked like you just took that cat out of my ear.
I was literally in the process of Discord typing. I was like, Hades was playing with his cat, and on stream it looked like he was literally playing with Forlath. Like he was over here just like messing with him. It was reaching over into his like block and everything. It was fantastic.
Now, what's going to be strange is when that hand actually makes it through Forlath's screen. And we're wondering where it's coming from here.
the cat's out of the bag, and the bag is Kris.
It's actually Forlath's cat.
Okay, sorry. Carry on.
So we're going to start with you, TC. Tell us a little bit about your character, your time in Sicily.
Sicily's good. Africa sucked. We ran into the Tigers for the first time, and they pummeled us. We survived that. I survived thanks to my second in command, Joseph. What do you go by? I should know that. Bishop. Bishop's good.
Bishop's fine. Joe, whenever you're talking to me, is totally fine as well.
And now we made it up to Sicily. Did we go to Sardinia? Were we involved in that campaign?
I'd have to look up the timeline for that. It sounds familiar. Let me double check for you. September 1943. I think is that when it happened? Sardinia. Yeah, that looks around September 1943. So, yeah, you guys would have gone through that.
Okay, so yeah, obviously we survived Sardinia, and then the armistice happened between Italy and the Allies, and then we went on to Italy and fought we're fighting our way up the. Are we on the which side are we on? We're the East Coast, West Coast?
You'd be in the Southwest Coast.
Southwest Coast.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to report at this time, unless you have the appropriate security clearance.
There we go. Okay. Hey, Bishop, what about you? Being played by the wonderful Wolf, Judge Wolf.
So, as Kris said, we served together in Africa. I was actually a replacement on his tank. Maybe one of these days he'll tell you the story, what happened to his former crew, but it wasn't a good one. I had a similar instance happen, but the what he was talking about with how I saved him is, and where I got the nickname from is, I just good eyes. You know, even though I got these goggles on my face, like I could still, I catch things quick, perceptive, right? I was a machinist before joining up. I actually thought I was going to be an engineer, and I got thrown into the tanks. But ever since both our crews got taken down quite a bit. I've been with Kris since, and we've been fighting together. So just looking forward to getting this bad boy up there, locking on to maybe a bunker that Hitler might be in, and taking him out.
And you might have that chance. And if I hadn't said it already, you both are assigned to the 70th Tank Battalion, which is part of the 1st Armored Division, Old Ironsides, which was actually formed as an independent medium tank company, July 15th, 1940. Now the three of you, Buddy Guy, Calvin Horner, and Everett Sweet Pea Pines, you've been together since armor school. You all know each other pretty well at this point. We'll go ahead and start with the gentleman with the most rank at this time, and that is Buddy Guy, played by Severian.
Yeah, so I'm playing Buddy Guy. He's a bit of an adrenaline junkie. He's been in a lot of vehicles that he's driven, a lot of vehicles that he's crashed, but he's still the best driver out there, at least in his opinion, anyways. Been training with Horner and good little Sweet Pea here for a little while. My trusty crew. Yeah, that's about all I got at the moment.
Okay. So then we're going to move onward to our loader, Calvin Horner, played by Hades.
Yeah, I'm Calvin Horner. I'm from New England. I grew up, not too well off, but not as hard up as other people did. Grew up working in my uncle's auto body shop, working on cars, and I guess that's why when I ended up joining the Army, that's why tanks seemed like a good pick for me. I was in an accident in the shop. Somebody decided to start up a car while I was under it. It backfired, and now I'm pretty hard of hearing. Not horribly, I still hear people, but some people call me huh, because I'm always saying huh.
All right, let's hope you can load those rounds in. And lastly, our bow gunner, he is being played by Everett Sweet Pea Pines, and our character, our player actually is Preacher. So Preach, tell us a little bit about Everett.
So Everett was before joining up, he was orphaned at 6 years old. He has small memories of like his grandfather. One of the last things that he remembers is his grandfather actually gave him a case XX pocket knife, and he carries that with him. It's went through, you know, all throughout all the different like orphanages and places that he's been. 17 years old, I was at a foster home, and me and this other boy that I was in there with, we got into a little bit of a scrap. Apparently, there was an issue with he thought it'd be okay to put perfectly good tomatoes on my sandwich, and I just couldn't do it. So I beat him up, right? Joined up, met up with these other fellers over here, and first person that stuck out to me was this weird dude with this weird ass accent. So me and him kind of like started hanging out, become pretty good buddies, and you know, pretty much nobody's gonna mess with us. That's kind of the way it works. I'm about 5'6", 5'7", you know, bald-headed, scrawny, just stocky enough to be kind of annoying, right? And nobody can beat me in a fight. Just ask me, I'll tell you. And also, I don't know who the TC is, but that dude looks old enough to owe Moses $1. Just saying.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, and you guys actually haven't met them yet, so so there's our crew. That is the crew. We'll continue on here with our little intro, and then we'll get right into the game. So as I stated before, you're all assigned to the 70th.
What about
Tank.
Buddy Guy? I want to hear Buddy Guy's story.
Did I forget Buddy Guy?
No, he got Buddy Guy.
I was like,
He just didn't give a story.
He was,
He just didn't have his hearing
You
aids
have it
in.
at your
he's like,
moment.
well, hey, Buddy Guy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
I can give a little more background if you'd like. I just didn't
Did your
want
mom
to take
hate
too much
you?
of your
Is that why
time.
she named you Buddy Guy?
Why you
No,
gotta
in
steal
fact,
my joke? I wanted to
my
use
father
that
loved me.
character, asshole.
My father loved me so much that at Ellis Island he wanted to give me an all-American name, which is Buddy Guy.
I was
Like
really
it.
hoping it was a nickname. They just say, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? Hey, buddy." You know, that's the way, and you just went with it.
No, my name's Buddy Guy.
Now I really want to
Grew
beat
up on
your
a farm,
parents.
tinkering on tractors, racing them everywhere, and you know, got in a few crashes, lost a friend in one of them, and enlisted in the army underage. Did very well for myself there.
Oh yeah, your character.
I lost a
comes with
friend.
little
I
bit
did
of,
pretty well for myself.
I forgot your character comes with a little bit of background as well, Seb.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, feller pal.
You know, Buddy Guy's he's very, very competent individual. He's been through some hardships, but he doesn't let that get him down.
I like it. Thank you.
Well, it's now around October 1943. The rest of you are still in Sicily. Well, at least two of you are in Sicily cleaning up. And the rest of the 70th Tank Battalion. The three of you actually got your orders, and you've been assigned to the 70th. And then now you're actually shipping over to England, and that's where you're going to end up meeting your crew. So we're going to fast forward to April 1944. Once you're in England, you guys do eventually kind of meet each other, get to know each other a little bit. You guys all get assigned to Baker Company, 3rd Platoon. The rest of the platoon, Baker, they all still see you three as new guys. You haven't earned anything in their eyes, you know. They're coming from hardened backgrounds down in Sicily and in Italy and in the desert. So you haven't earned anything. You're the bitch crew. You guys tend to get the majority of the shit jobs and the side tasks throughout your time in England. Eventually, the whole battalion reorganizes from a light tank battalion into a medium tank battalion. So Abel, Baker, Charlie, all his M4 Sherman tanks, and Dog are actually still going to be the M5 Light Stewart tanks. While in Ogborn, St. George, the company learned all about how to use these Shermans. For you three, it was basically like a refresher. For the other two, you guys kind of were trying to get your fix and your handle on these new machines because they were much bigger, they were much faster. And again, you guys rode in the small guys in Italy, the M3 Stuarts. So while the three of you lack any combat experience, you certainly make up for it in the Sherman experience. And your latest training has you guys in Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, England, alongside Able Company. So,
Okay, that's a good point. If I can interject just shortly
absolutely.
there. How do we address you, by the way?
You
What's
can
your
call me
rank?
Game General, you can call me bad names, however you want to do this.
General? Okay, that works
Call
for
him
me.
sir.
So, yeah.
So,
War daddy or something.
so what about Bishop and I? Does that mean we don't have any experience on the M4?
You do not.
Okay.
Nope. So it's all fresh for you guys.
So
while
we got to
shooting-
learn from these fucking boots.
Yeah. Yep.
You mean to tell me I'm gonna spend this whole fucking campaign training butter bars over here?
I'm not Italian.
First off, there.
I speak
Boot.
third best Italian.
First off, Boot, whenever you've actually seen what a man can do to another man, don't think about it like that, you fucking pervert. Okay?
Didn't know you came from the Navy.
Then
When you see what a man can accomplish with another man,
We've seen some shit, man.
the art they can make.
You know what they say in Italy: sleep on your back, or somebody else will.
Seen the elephant. When you seen the elephant, then we can talk. Okay, just until then, keep your mouth shut.
I didn't think there were any elephants in Italy.
Huh?
Hey, General, what are the ranks? Give us the
Okay,
ranks.
yeah, your ranks. So, TC, you're Sergeant First Class. Bishop, he is a corporal. The next in charge is Buddy Guy. He's a technician 5th grade. And then the last two, Sweet Pea.
Wait, sorry,
and
what? He's what?
a technician 5th grade. Yeah, those are ranks.
Same
in
as
World War II.
education level.
Yeah,
Okay, those
so
are
you
ranks.
smarter than a
That's what
fifth
I was
grader.
thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, those are ranks. Shut up. And the last
He
two
makes sure the
are,
pencil sharpener is in good working order.
he's not only an IT in real life, but he's a technician in game.
Yeah, what did they call them? Was it like specialist, or was there a different term?
It's kind of like no, corporal's closest to specialist. It was probably between PFC.
No, I
and-
mean, what do you call them?
Techs.
Technician 5th grade.
I don't know.
So-
Actually, that's a good question.
Technician guy? Oh,
Technician
that's
guy.
gonna be weird.
Tech guy.
Hey, technician guy.
Listen
technician
here,
guy.
tech guy.
Tech guy.
Technician guy.
You and your tech.
They're like, hey, what's that tech guy's name? Buddy.
Tech guy. That's
What?
so you already know who he is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions, TC?
Well,
What
yeah.
was the other two?
What was the rank of the other two?
Yeah,
PFC.
Han,
PFC.
Sweetie.
PFC, Private First Class.
How did they get a promotion already? They're fucking boots.
They are boots. They
Why
spent
do
some
you keep
time in
saying
training.
that?
It's
Not
probably
Do you
it's
not know
probably
what a
been like
Boot means basic out of training. That means you are a scumbag. Like
Food is the shape of Italy.
I can't play this anymore. I can't do it. I'm gonna be laughing.
Well, getting promoted in the Army is about like getting enlisted into the Marine Corps. You just got to be able to shoot with both hands and hold your breath for a minute.
and they issue crayons.
And
for-
my
in your
favorite crayon
MREs.
is grape.
Oh god. Oh god, this whole game I'm just gonna be having to mute it because I'm gonna be snickering too hard. You guys are killing me, dude. You guys are killing me already. We're just getting started.
We made it
Well,
25 minutes before we
that's-
broke it. It's fine.
We are at war. You will get killed, probably.
But
on,
seriously,
so-
how did they get a fucking promotion to PFC right out of fucking
I'm
Mason?
still mad about it.
Because-
So mad.
I don't know. Once you've seen the elephant in Africa, you'll know.
Yeah. TC, I'm gonna need you to get your gunner in check. Yeah, no, they just had
Kris,
some
what are
they
they
had some
doing?
time in basic and job school. You know, it's probably a year and a half in. So they've had some time to earn a little bit of rank. you know,
They've been proving what a man can do to another man. That's how they got their promotion.
Well, hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, my sheet says that Sweet Pea's my buddy. Sorry, guy.
Yeah. You ever had a buddy who's not named Buddy and then a driver whose name's Buddy?
I'm so confused right now.
This is a real who's on first moment right now.
Are you diabetic?
Right.
Is that why they call you Sweet Pea?
All right.
So-
All right.
So
Get him
Drive it on.
in line, Top. Get him in line.
get into
Get him in check.
into the story. So I just want to preface this in the beginning. Outside of the storyline, what's going on? This is an open world. You're all free to interact with, do or try whatever you want. You guys
let's
can
take this
go
the east
to what
front.
you might believe to be on an army base, or if you guys have passes or don't want to follow those passes, you know, you can go outside to a base or a town. You want to go do something on base, that's fine. You want to leave and go do something, that's also fine. Once we eventually get into country, you guys want to sneak around on the farms, go into town, you meet the local wildlife, that kind of thing, that's fine.
So some chocolate bars.
Hey, don't tell us how to play. Just give us
Just
a
let you
scenario.
know
Local
how open
wild
it is,
life.
that's all. Just let you know how
you got
open
taco
it is.
bars?
Taco bars?
Taco bars.
Yeah, you'll get those in your rations. Lastly, anytime you guys want to do something in the tank, without me constantly asking you what you're doing or how you're sitting, whether you're inside, outside, that kind of thing, just say it. That way, you guys are out, and you know I don't have to keep bugging you or anything like that.
Oh,
Okay.
hey, I found something.
Okay.
something. A technician was generally not addressed as such, but rather as the equivalent non-commissioned rank in its pay grade. So, T5, call him a corporal.
All right. Look at Seb down there, like, that's right. You'll address me as such.
I'm not addressing you as corporal. Boo.
So I
All right.
might be getting ahead of myself, but do we have like a vehicle or something of our own on base? To drive off of base?
There would be access to like Jeeps,
Motor
Willie's
pool or
Jeeps.
something?
Yeah, your tank will be there. Your tank's gonna be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit ahead. It's gonna be brought up here in a second. But outside of that, there are motorcycles, but those are pretty locked down. You'll have more access to Willie's Jeeps if you really want
Okay.
Jeeps. Okay.
Now that you said motorcycle, that's what I want.
Okay. So 1 second here, and I'll start this. So you've all been stationed here in Ogborn, St. George. Everything to you guys and this whole base actually is brand new. Thankfully, though, you're actually sleeping in barracks and not like the paratroopers, ones made out of like makeshift stables. It's 0 dark 30. You're all sound asleep in the barracks. And this comes.
Go, 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 go!
Up and at 'em.
So the lights in the barracks come on, and an officer opens the door with zero regard to the fact that everybody inside is sleeping. And he jumps in and he says, "Third platoon, on your feet. You got 30 minutes. Get to your tanks and be ready to move out. TCs, meet on Big Ugly for a briefing." And he turns around and shuts the door.
Everett raises up and he's like wiping his eyes and he's like, "Oh, you guys know I fucking killed a man to get here, right? Like, just throwing that out there."
I get up, zip up the jumpsuit. I say, Corporal Bishop, get the men going, and head over to the lieutenant's tank.
Roger, Top. All right, get out of your fucking racks. Let's go. We got to get over here on Sweet Pea. He said get up on Big Ugly. Let's go. Come on, get up. Get your asses up. Let's move.
I get up, slip on my boots, slide my pack of Lucky Strikes and lighter into a pocket somewhere, try and keep that hidden, and get ready and leave.
Yeah, there's some minor grumbling, just like the rest of you within, that can be heard throughout the barracks, because you guys are sharing it with the rest of Baker. Others can be seen, getting their overalls on, grabbing their gear. Private Neil from Banditos He's their loader. He can be heard bitching up a storm still in his bed with the sheet over his head. This ain't Italy. Let us get some sleep. You know we ain't gonna get here anytime soon. So...
What was his name again?
Neil.
His name was Private Neil, and
Neil.
he's from Bandidos.
Okay.
Do this. Okay.
Horner, did you get out of bed? Do I have to drag you out?
I assumed like anytime we're up and about, we would have our sidearm on us, right?
Yeah, you take that wherever you go. I mean, you're not going to leave it laying around or anything. So, yeah, you guys have it over the shoulder like the detectives and such. So your sidearm would be basically underneath your arm and such. Yeah.
Yeah, so Horner would...
Sorry, one sec. This is just personal experience. I don't know how it was done then. Are we actually holding onto our weapons and ammo right now?
Yeah, you'll have weapons. You won't have ammo.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was checking, because I was going to say first thing Horner does after sitting up in the bed is putting on his little holster, like you just said, and checking his weapon and putting it in.
Okay. Yep, yeah, so weapons are free reign. Not like today where they issue them out and lock them up because, you know.
But I don't have any ammo for it.
Yeah, no ammo. Nope.
Well, I guess I still would check the slide, make sure it's lubed and ready. I put it in my holster, and I'm grumbling under my breath. I don't want to be the loudest complainer, but I'm fucking also annoyed being woken up at this time. But I'm just grumbling, getting my shit together.
So after everyone's kind of like moving around, I'm starting to go around and say, all right, it's dialed back a little bit. I go up to each individual. I'm like, all right, just get outside. Let's get into a formation real quick. Do a quick check. I don't know what we're going to be doing. What's the place that we're going? Does this feel like a place that we're going to go PT or something?
Yeah. So ahead of time, you guys do know that this is some sort of training mission today, likely hitting the range. You guys were allowed before, or you guys were assigned before the last night, to fill the tank up to full capacity or full. I mean, best word I could use.
Combat load, baby.
Combat load, full battle rattle. So your tank is loaded with all its shells, both for the main gun and for your machine guns inside. You've got your full loads on the back. Your rations, everything else that you wanted to take, your jerry cans, things like that. And it was all designed to make the tank feel like it is in country. Also, to get you guys to do the work and during your downtime.
So is this our tank, or have we been assigned a tank, or is this just a training vehicle?
No, you've been assigned a tank, and your tank will be outside waiting in front of the barracks.
And we've been introduced to our crew?
Yeah, yes.
Crewmates?
Yeah, at this point, you guys have met each other.
And how did that go?
Well, why don't you tell me, TC? Like, are you talking about the 4 in your tank itself?
Yep. Yes, I am. Well, I imagine... Oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
Okay. Yeah, so you've only met a couple times, and you really haven't had much time to train with them actually inside the tank, or really get to know them due to the amount of work that the higher ups have thrown at you right now. And that's not training, that's all sorts of different work. So everybody's kind of been scattered everywhere, and you really haven't had too much of time to talk and shoot the gig. It's more of a yes, Sergeant, no, Sergeant, I'll go do this kind of thing. So you really don't know much other than, hi, this is my name.
Okay, so I haven't had a chance to form any sort of impressions?
No.
Okay.
Anybody else doing anything before they go outside?
Everett would do the same thing that Forner did, just, kind of grab his gun, check it, think it's stupid that he's checking it and it's empty, puts it in his holster, takes his comb, dips it in his Brill cream, runs through the hair, make sure the hair looks good, like half-ass lace boots, and then probably be Probably be second out the door, probably. Checking to see if Calvin's up, making sure he's not going to get bitched at. But other than that, he's out.
Calvin made it out the door while Sweet Pea was fiddling with his fucking hair.
So I look around. I'm like, fuck, where's Calvin? Calvin? Fuck him. All right, I'll see him out there.
So I would just want to run a quick inspection, make sure everyone's got everything that they need. We're not leaving anything behind in the barracks. Everyone's got their smokes. Everyone's got their weapon. Everyone's got their, whatever they need. They're wearing their uniform appropriately, whatnot.
So
Hospital corners.
So that'll be our first. Then that'll be your first roll. So if you guys want to follow along, I kind of help walk you guys through the character sheet. So on the upper right-hand corner in Foundry, fourth from the right is the people person looking, and it's labeled actors. If you go down to PC, you'll have access to everybody's sheet there. You should. So if you open up your sheet, you'll see these. These are all custom-made scenario because there's not actually one for war stories. So up the top is all your information. We got some rolls in the middle, and then your skills kind of in the middle here. You'll see them all listed under skills. If you click combat, that should be all the weapons and stuff that you'll be issued once in country. It's easier just to have it all in there. Talents and specializations, those are all in there for you to reference. Equipment, and then notes about your character are in there as well. So Corporal, you said you wanted to check the corners. Give me a perception roll. And that is just under intelligence. So if you just click perception, there's no modifications, nothing like that. And then you can click roll. Okay, so like in other games in the YZE engine, you can push a roll if you're not happy with it. Sixes are successes. One six is all you need. Anything above that, you can turn in for different things.
Give me that lucky strike, baby!
You get yourself a lucky strike. There's other stuff as well. And if you look in Foundry on the top right, two from the right of PCs, you'll see journal. If you'll click on rules reference, I put a bunch of stuff in there for you guys as quick and easy references. So since we're making a skill check, you could click on number 2, making a skill check. And then it can go in there and you see that lucky strikes and foo bars are in there. Foo bars are ones, but this only happens when you push your roll. So if you're not satisfied or you're looking for more successes, you could always push your roll. But doing so comes with complications or bad things. You can re-roll anything but 6s or 1s. But just keep in mind that if you push your roll and you get more 1s or you get another 1, those turn into foo bars. And I can use those to mess with you guys while we play. So you have 2 successes. You wanted to turn that into a lucky strike, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to get into mod view right now because we have a big opportunity
I'm
in the chat.
Right now.
Thanks. I'm trying.
Retaliatory span 9. Man, how did we get so lucky?
I don't know if I think we should take advantage of that. Yeah, I want to use that extra success if I could to throw that into a lucky strike.
Okay. Yeah, I marked that on the sheet for you.
Thanks.
So you walk around inside, and you pretty much don't find anything. Everybody seems to have their gear squared away, but one individual did happen to leave their tanker helmet chilling on the side of their bed. They're on their bedpost.
Who was it?
I'll tell you that in a second.
It was Buddy Guy, wasn't it? Buddy Guy doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would want to wear a helmet. Buddy guy follows his own rules.
Actually, it was Sweet Pea. Maybe it was because he was trying to grease up his hair and didn't want to mess it up.
Helmet slid right off.
But yeah, he was too worried about his looks.
So doing the once up, once down on everybody and stopping right in front of Sweet Pea, just kind of stare at him for a minute, look up to his hair, look down to his face, and be like, you forgetting something?
Let's see. Bang.
Go get your brain bucket. Go get your brain bucket.
Alright. Sorry. And then I'd shuffle back, grab it, and go to put it on. I'm like, but boss, my hair.
Just hold on to it. Just hold on to it.
Ah.
We get a tank.
Thanks, Dad.
So you guys are outside. The sun is barely starting to come up. It's a brisk morning. The air is very chill. Conveniently, 3rd Platoon's tanks are parked just outside your barracks. And those tanks are Badger, Babe, Blackjack, which is you guys, Bandito, and Big Ugly. Big Ugly is Baker Actual, the tank that is your lieutenant that's in. So down the way a little bit, if you look down one way or if you look down another way, there's dozens more parked, exactly as Baker Company and 3rd Platoon is. Able is also there. They're much farther down. So in a sense, you guys probably see upwards as to 50, maybe even close to 100 tanks lined up just in sight down the road. Your guys' tank is the M4 Sherman, Army's brand new medium tank, built to compete against Germany's massive cats. They're all covered with a light, moist morning dew. The majority of Baker Company and 3rd Platoon, you guys have your names painted on the side of the tanks, and some of you even have emblems painted on, or icons to resemble your name. You can see several others are at their tanks already. Some seem to be climbing over. One is at the rear, actually spinning the engine crank. And you guys would know that if your tank sits overnight, you can't just start it right up because of moisture in the lines. So you have to get in the back and you have to crank this thing 50 times to cycle all the fluids, and then you can get inside and you can start it. So, Corporal, did you dismiss them, or are they still formed up?
I would be dismissing them, telling them to start doing the. What did Top tell us to do? Did he give me any instructions on whether or not to meet him over by Big Ugly, or to start getting our tanks fired up?
I did not. All I said was form them up.
Okay. Then I would be waiting for Top.
Okay. Top, you got anything before I move?
I'm not here. I'm over at Big Ugly.
Okay. So in the background, Private Reeves of Bandito can be seen. He's pulling out a large metal crank, kind of walking to the back of his tank. Hey, Pines, why don't you come over here and crank this engine for me? Look like you drank your milk this morning.
Whip my hair back. I'm like, I got something you can crank. And I walk over there and I go to assist him.
I would send. I would ask because I'm not super mean. I would ask. The buddy guy and to head over to our tank. Go ahead and get it fired up, and then tell Pines to get his ass back over onto his own gear and let that other tank crew worry about their own shit.
Got it. You don't have to ask me twice.
Did you hear that? You're responsible for your own shit.
When you say that, Pines, Corporal Spagnolia pops out his head of the turret. He's like, "Hey, yeah, but how about when you're done cranking Bandito, you guys head over to the motor pool and get some of that turn signal fluid in a can of squelch. We're a little low."
Well, luckily for you, I just recently earned my ID 10T certification, and Calvin's on that today.
Yeah, no can do, boss. I'm cranking over here.
Okay. Are you cranking, huh?
Go away, I'm cranking.
So you guys, so
you know I get cranky when I'm getting the tank started.
So you got two of you over at Blackjack right now?
That's right.
What are you guys doing?
I was hoping Pines would completely ignore or hurry up with Bandito and get over here to ours, because, like I said, they can worry about their own shit. They got their
Listen, we might as well just call this thing Martha, because it's been a moody bitch since we got this side of the.
Oh, throwbacks.
I got it. And I'll help with our tank and not Bandito.
All right. So you got three of you over at Blackjack. You guys kind of start in and climb in, start doing your checks, things like that. Let's see. Calvin, you said you were gonna crank it up?
That's right.
Okay. On your sheet, give me a calisthenics roll.
Ooh, calisthenics. I get it because my name's Calvin. I'm doing Calvinisthenics.
You just be cranking Calvin over here.
Cranking Calvin, that's what they call me.
Hey. Apparently you ain't cranking shit.
So you get the crank off the back of the tank, crank the tank, and you get it in there, and maybe because it's moist, or maybe because it's still morning and you haven't had your morning joe, you're having a little bit of trouble getting this thing to move.
I got 5 strength, what the fuck? I do a stretch and then I push the roll.
All right, so let's see. You don't have any 1s or 6s to be worried about, so hit it.
I just hit it again, or is there a special?
Yeah, yes. You'll hit it again since there's nothing we got to worry about. Otherwise, I'll just tell you how many dice to roll.
Yay!
Okay, so you have 1 success, but you also get 2 foobar from that roll. The 2 ones you had duds turned into foobars when you pushed your roll. So on your sheet, if you could add 2 foobars to it, it's on the left-hand corner underneath your name. Each character can only have 2 lucky strikes and 2 foobars. Foobars then go into my pot. Lucky strikes above your 2. If you don't use them, you lose them, or you can give them out as a helper if you can explain how, or a good reason as to why you're giving this to them, or why you're assisting the player. So, over at Big Ugly, the TC Gathering, Big Ugly, that's Lieutenant Herman Finkelstein's tank. Baker Actual. The 3 of you, the 3 cherries, I should say, have only known him for about a week. But Knoblauch and Bishop, they rolled with him in Africa. Advice given is that he's a straight shooter and expects it in return. He's the people's CEO, friendly and fun, and does exactly what he expects his men to do, but doesn't put up with shit. He lives up to his tank's name. People that have been in Africa with him, they let him call him Fink. Everybody else, it's Lieutenant. So Lieutenant
Wait,
Finkelstein.
was that Think?
Fink,
TH?
F-I-N-K.
Gotcha.
Yes. So Lieutenant Finkelstein is standing there with his hands on his hips. Also there's Sergeant Davis of Babe. Davis is a thick man with a deep voice. And Knoblauch, once you arrive, he kind of nods at you. And the lieutenant looks up and he says, "Morning, Knoblauch."
Lieutenant, I salute.
He salutes back. A few more minutes pass, and finally Sergeant Sanchez of Bandito and Sergeant Bailey of Badger show up. Sergeant Sanchez is of Hispanic descent, medium build, and Sergeant Bailey, he's a twig of a character from the holler of West Virginia. The lieutenant clears his throat
I
clears
shake
his
hands
throat,
with all the other tank commanders. Just
and they reach out and
guys.
nod at you and say, "Hey, Kris, you guys are all basically on first name basis. Not only because you've known each other for quite some time, but because you guys have been in the shit together." And Lieutenant Fink looks up at the two late arrivers and he says, "Glad you could join us, ladies." And Sanchez pipes up and he's like, "Sorry, Lieutenant. We were helping direct the boys of Blackjack on where to find the cans of squelch." So Fink's standing there and he says, "All right, gentlemen, listen up. Today's training mission is all about honing our skills on the Shermans. I know we kicked some ass in Italy, but that was on the Stuarts. These are bigger, tend to be a little slower compared to our Stuarts, but they're much stronger. Today's range, everything is live fire, so be smart. I want to see teamwork and communication. Don't jam up the comms with a bunch of your bullshit. I expect each and every one of you to use what is available to your tank. There'll be range safeties and NCOs nearby as well. We're going to be utilizing today the HE, so for everybody else that's high explosive. That tends to that's your bigger explosive charge. It can be used against the tanks, but it's more for blowing things up and troops. So he said we'll be utilizing HE, AP, which is armor piercing, and WP rounds, Willie Pete, white phosphorus. That's your smoke screen and also to light some shit on fire. Those will only be used on the stationary ranges. However, once we enter the course, we are machine gun free. What that means is once we get past the gates, there may or may not be some pop-up silhouettes along the drive that resemble German infantry, and we are to react accordingly. The idea here, men, is to practice your observation and reaction skills. Once we go past the MP gate at the entrance of the course, we can go hot. Movement order is going to be Bandito, Blackjack, Big Ugly, Babe, and Badger. Our first objective is going to be to make it to the firing range. Anybody got any questions?
No, Lieutenant.
Nothing from everybody else. They just kind of nod. And once everybody kind of nods their acknowledgement to the lieutenant, he looks over at you, Knoblauch, and he says, "Sergeant, we may have the combat experience, but you're three boys. They know these Shermans better than the rest of us. So if your men have anything worthwhile out there that can help the squad, make sure you guys speak up."
Understood.
All right, boys, mount up and stand by. And
Salute.
kind of dismisses you and climbs up to his tank.
Salute and head back to Blackjack.
Okay. So you get back there, TC. You notice that it looks like your boys seem to be doing their work.
Is Blackjack ready to go?
So during that time, I'd have been walking around to make sure everyone's doing their pre-taken off checklist stuff. And would the report be to top that we're ready to go?
Yeah, you are. I would say check in with your boys first.
So I'd start with the driver. Hey,
I'm in the driver's seat, ready to go.
Tech 5th grade buddy guy. You everything 5x5?
Yeah, all systems nominal.
This
Go and
tank
check.
just took us to space.
It did. Actually, we're going down from space. This is one of those alternate future things, or alternate past things. Go check on Pine to make sure that he's got his ammo loaded and his bow gun. Make sure he's ready to go.
You got it. I popped my head up out of the tank. It's top hatch, right?
Yeah, top hatch. So the driver is on the right side of the tank. The bow gunner is on the left side of the tank. Not only if you guys are sitting up and out, you're basically like shoulder up, it's out. But if you were inside of the tank, you guys could look at each other and hold hands, things like that.
Oh.
So the only thing in between you is
Once you've seen what a man can do to another man.
God damn right.
Yeah, basically
Foreigner,
between
I hear
you
ya.
is the engine and the transmission.
Okay. Foreigner, I hear you starting on the crank back there. Everything okay?
Start her up.
All right. Pines,
So-
you getting the ammo? We all loaded?
Just as soon as he says Pines, you hear like me radio to him, and I want his radio to like, I'm so close it'll squeak, and it is just like, driver, bow gunner, how me? I'm sorry, did you say something? Did you say something, guy?
Yeah, we loaded yet?
Oh, son, we're loading for bear.
All right. Try and go ahead and start up the tank if it's ready to go.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me an operate test, no modifiers. Preach, since you're loading up your gun, why don't you go ahead and give me a give me a heavy weapons roll.
Heavy weapons. There you go, bub.
Okay.
Add 3 food bars to that, or yeah?
All right.
I
No, you
think
don't.
those
That's only
only
if you
count.
push. Yeah.
Oh, it is when you push, right?
Yep. So let me start with buddy guy here, and then I'll go to you. Sev. So you crank the engine, and it's not starting up.
All right. I take a second, kind of look around the cockpit, run my hands over the dash in front of me. Come on. And give it another crank.
All right. Give me another operate roll.
You
Cranking's
want me to
my
push
job.
or do a new roll?
Give me a new roll.
Okay.
So you have 1 success and 2 lucky strike, or 2 extra successes. What are you going to do with those?
Lucky strikes. I can have
Right.
2, right? So,
Yep, you can have 2. So add them to your list. Sweet Pea, you have no problem loading up the bow gun with the ammo. You get 250 rounds, and that's where it's at. So you're all loaded up with no issues, and you have an extra success to do with as you want.
We'll slap that in a strike too if I can. Or no. Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
if
do
you
that.
don't have
Yeah.
2.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. So you two are good to go, Corporal.
So, as he's firing it up, I kind of jumped on the front of the tank to lean in through the top hatch to talk to buddy guy, and I say, you know, you're third in command of this if me and Top go down, right?
yeah, I know that.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
ain't no sir. Come on now. You went through armor training. You know I ain't no sir.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your bow gunner. All right. So when we do check-ins and everything, I need you keeping on his ass, making sure that everything's squared away with him, so that I can kind of keep an eye on our mechanic, and then Top doesn't really have to worry too much about it. He can kind of keep an eye out on what's going on with the other tanks around us. All right.
Sure. Got it.
Cool. Thanks. After saying that, kind of giving him a little bit of leadership, like giving him a chance to be a leader too. I go back and check on our mechanic, make sure that he's ready to load up. Hey, Craig, fucking, Calvin, what the fuck's your name?
Huh?
You called him Hobbs?
No, I called him, I
He
called
called
him,
him,
Calvin.
He said, Calvin Hobbs.
Huh?
You squared away back there?
Yep, just putting the crank away.
All right, get that thing loaded and get inside.
Yep.
So then I go and to Kris and say, Sergeant, we're ready to roll whenever you are.
What do you think, Ojos? How they're looking?
I think they'll be okay. Is that? Hold on a second.
Yep.
Sorry, is that to me?
Yeah,
no,
that was
that's
to you.
for
Oh,
for
sorry.
Hades. For Hades. I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but Hades.
Sorry,
can do
yeah.
Perception check.
I think they'll be all right, Top. They seem to be, squared away.
What's your impressions of the of our new tank? What do you think of these M4s?
Feels a little bit big. Feels like kind of feels like a big fucking target.
High profile. No, that could be a problem. Okay.
What's the gun size on this compared to the ones that we were in before there, General, Sir, Master,
So
Ma'am,
the
sir?
the M4s, the ones you guys are in right now, they are 75 millimeter.
Okay.
The M3 Stuarts that you guys had in Italy, you guys. So that actually was little shooter, little pea shooter actually. It had a 37 millimeter and 330 cal machine guns on it.
Wow.
So they were
Okay,
small.
so the only benefit I can see is the bigger guns on this, but I don't know what that might end up doing to, like a Tiger if we run into it.
Well, okay, let's put her through her paces. I approach the tank, jump up on top, clamber over to the turret, drop down, hit the mic. Okay, guys, team, this is going to be a basic training exercise. We're going to do some shooting, see what this baby can do. Driver,
Yes, sir.
right? On.
All right, I kick it into gear.
Give me 1 second, waiting for a quick roll
In the rear with the gear.
from the corporal. Okay. With that, when you asked your question about the Tigers, their corporal, you would know that this gun will likely not do shit to the front of a Tiger, and that if you're gonna face off, it's either gonna be on the side or the rear.
Roger.
Okay. So, driver, you said you're getting ready to move?
Yep. Throw it into gear and start accelerating.
Okay, so you start to move, and out on the radio chimes up. It's Baker Actual, Lieutenant Fink, and he chimes in. Blackjack, slow your roll. Hold on a minute.
Roger that, Lieutenant. Driver, slow down. Halt.
All right. Already decelerating.
So your
I'm sure
tank
we
kind of
moved like
comes
a
off the
foot.
line in front of
Yeah.
in front of everybody else, and jokes start to ensue about premature movement and other actions that involved. So they're all kind of making fun of you on the radio, and you guys can hear the chatter on the radio, but when you talk on the interphone, it only goes to you guys unless your TC has it switched to the whole platoon.
I respond. My apologies, ladies. I thought you had your stockings up already. We're gonna get the show on the road, or what?
Radio, it squawks up again, and it's Lieutenant Fink, and this time he does say, "All right, let's move out." And
Okay.
so,
I relay the command.
driver, give me an operate test.
All right.
All right.
Is there a handling bonus that I add for this vehicle?
No. So there is no handling bonus for this vehicle.
Okay.
But one thing I do want to mention, once we start to do different roles inside the tank, if you guys double click the tank, and we'll go over this in a little bit, you see combat where all the weapons are. If you click on crew, specific roles are there for you that involve checks within the tank. So commander, obviously yours has to do with the command. Buddy guy, yours is operate. So these are input from your sheet, but if there are any bonuses that go along with the tank, when you click on these, those will automatically add in. So like Calvin Horner, he's got his stats here for loading. The tank has a loading bonus of 1. That's automatically going to be added in if he rolls from here. If he rolls from a sheet, he's going to have to remember that you get a loading bonus. Same thing.
So I should have had one more then, right? Because it shows operate 1.
You don't have a handling bonus with the M4.
Oh, that one is from my. Okay, I
yes.
follow.
Yeah. Yep. That's from your sheet.
Mhm.
Okay. So all the tanks start to move out. By this point, the sun seems to be completely up. The air is still cool. On the outside, for those of you, actually, let me ask, who's outside the tank?
Yeah, that would be me. Are you mean on top, or everyone's in their position?
Yeah, no,
Presumably.
yeah. So if I say outside, that means you're either buttoned, if you're not buttoned up. So like the
No, we're
bow
not buttoned
gunner,
up.
the driver, and you can be outside of the tank.
Yeah,
I mean,
otherwise
I would think we would all be, unless we're given an order to button it down, or I see a need to. We're going to be unbuttoned.
I mean, we're live fire training, right? Should we be buttoned up?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet.
That's true.
TC.
Do I have a hatch? I feel like I'm.
You don't. You and Bishop both are in the dark. I mean,
We're back of the bus, man.
yeah,
We're in the
you're inside
cave.
the whole time. Yeah, you have a little bit of movement room in your loading area, and same thing with the gunner. He's on a seat. He's got a button that he pushes on the floor, and he's got his button to move the turret left and right, up and down, with the crank as well. TC, part of your position is you can help move the turret to line it up, and we'll get into some of that once we hit combat. Sev and Everett, you guys have your own hatches, so you guys can get out that way. Also, bow gunner, next to you is the floor hatch. So should you need to bail for some reason and you can't go out your top, you can go through that. Real quick, yeah, so TC, why don't you give me a insight roll. Give me 3 modifier.
Okay. Insight?
Yeah, so you'll click insight and then the modifier in there. All you have to do is type the number 3.
All right, so I'm looking. Insight under intelligence, insight, and then modifier 3.
Yep.
And roll.
So, hearing Buddy Guy's question about the button up and the things like that, you would know based on your combat skills, outside of anything other than combat, more than likely you guys are gonna have your heads up, out and out.
Yeah, visibility is key. Visibility is key.
Yep, because and this is simulated in the game. Once you guys button up, there are negative modifiers to come with it.
Oh,
And
okay. All right, that's good to know.
The strongest is actually against you, TC, in terms of your view and such.
I got you.
So you got 3 successes. 1 was for that information. The other 2, what would you like to do with?
Can you bank? Is it similar to?
Yeah. So it would be banking your lucky strikes. So on your character sheet, underneath your name on the left-hand side, is your lucky strike counter.
Oh, I got it. I got a question sort of like that on game mechanics. So everything I've been reading up on, the gunner and the driver actually work together in aligning the turret. Obviously, the driver can add to how many degrees,
Yes.
and it speeds up the alignment. Is that reflected in the game rules?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Some of it is, yes. I added a little bit of house rules to kind of force you guys more into I got to rely on each one of you and what you're doing before I do this or how I act. Because the game is, is pretty basic when it comes to tanks, so I added a little bit more to complicate it a little more to simulate the teamwork.
I got you.
So, and we'll review those once we hit up the combat stuff. Any other questions?
Not for me.
All right. So the tanks, they all start to pull out in the formation that the lieutenant had called out. So Bandito, Blackjack, Big Ugly Babe, and Badger. Let's see. Oops.
Are we in file or are we 5 across?
Yeah. You guys will go single file. So once the tanks all start to pull out, you move into formation, which is single file. Finally, you get a little bit of circulation. The cool air starts to hit everybody who has your heads out. On the inside of the tank, it does start to circulate as well a little bit. So Sweet Pea's farts kind of start to get pushed out. So that's nice. You guys start to roll by all the rest of Baker Company's tanks. Some guys are out there. Obviously, they have their own training that day. Some of them maybe be doing some maintenance or loading up. And then you guys skip a little bit, and then you come to Able Company's barracks and parked tanks as well. Nobody's out there currently. You guys take in all the different types of art on the side of each tank. One in particular kind of catches your eye, Sweet Pea. Why don't you give me a quick perception roll?
All right, then. Perception roll. Coming in hot.
So you guys are basically in granny gear, which is pretty slow. I think it's less than 5 miles an hour. So it's not going too fast. And as you guys start to pass by, like I said, Sweet Pea, you notice a little bit of art on the one side of one of the tanks. And it actually happens to be a tomato that has a knife stuck in it. And the tank and the rest of the column just rolls on by.
I take an active effort to take one big drag off the last big drag off the cigarette I got, and I flick it at it, and I just kind of drive by flipping it off, just to myself.
Okay. Real quick, Sweet Pea, what I need from you is give me a quick guts check. And no extra
check.
bonuses from anybody.
Oh, I got a ton. I got a ton.
I know, but I'm not letting you use any of them for specific reasons. Because you guys don't know some things just yet.
Okay.
So you fail your guts check. Something about what you just saw maybe kind of stresses you out a little bit. So on your sheet, Sweet Pea.
Yep.
On the bottom, you see all 4 wounds, wariness, fear, and morale. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
You see nervous. Click nervous for me.
Nervous. Yep.
So that's basically. Sorry, go
Are
ahead.
his knees weak?
Arms are heavy. This is basically what's called a condition in the game. So these are negative modifiers to your roll. They automatically get put in when you do your rolls. Doing different things can remove them. Such like in the house rules I added, it's kind of like Aliens where you interact with your personal item. It is like a stress reliever kind of thing. Rest, alcohol, cigarettes, things like that are all different stress removers that we can use. So it takes about 10 minutes to get to the entrance of the range or of the course. And when you finally do, you guys are met by an MP that can be seen holding up a black and white gate arm that was blocking the entrance. Bandito takes the lead, and he's the first one through the gate. And as the convoy moves forward and moves past the gate, there are large signs on both sides of the tank that says range is hot, you're entering an active course or scenario, be prepared to react. And just a word of the wise, TC, you would know this. In the formation, the only tank that has their main gun armed is the front end, is the person leading in.
Makes sense.
And that's the person on point. And that's so nervous recruits or nervous tankers don't actually pop off their friends in front of them. And that was a standard thing, even in the war, until they split up when they did their stuff. So just for knowledge for you, sir. So
Understood.
Big Ugly gets on the radio. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said I understood.
Okay. So Big Ugly gets on the radio, and he says, "All right, gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled. We're now in enemy territory." And so, currently, what is everybody doing?
So does that mean, like, on hearing that, we would await for TC to say button up and drop in, or is that just something we would automatically do if we knew we were going into an active engagement?
That's generally an order by the TC.
Okay. So up until then, you would have seen, like you were talking about earlier, to finish out that thought, I would have thrown that cigarette, and then as an act of nervousness, would have immediately struck another one and been smoking it, just kind of riding the top of the hatch. Essentially, you know, ass on one side, feet propped up on the other side, just waiting to be able to just slide down in, essentially.
Okay. How's everybody else? What's everybody else in the tank doing currently as we start to roll?
Calvin's looking around his area, making sure he knows how many of each ammo type he has, where they're at, and he's kind of, as he's checking off where they're at, he's doing like a quick, this is how I would grab it and load it, you know, getting his arms ready to act on muscle memory.
Now, have we been given the order to assume formation, or are we still in file?
You're still in single file line.
Okay. Well, we're just waiting for the word at this point.
Okay.
So
In front of, sorry, somebody have something?
yeah, so with the way that the tank site works, right? I'd be double checking to make sure that everything. I don't know in reality what kind of alignment that needs to be done with it, and you know what with the safety. If I remember right, it's a foot pedal fire mechanism with just a regular, you know, optical sight.
Yes.
So I would be, you know, making sure that everything's calibrated as it needs to be, making sure that, you know, the safety, whatever safety is present is there, keeping my foot off of it, whatever, but mostly just actually enjoying the ride. Like, it's nice. It feels good to be back inside of one of these, ready to, you know, hopefully go and do some more stuff and like slay the enemy.
Now, presumably the gun is capped, right? It has the dust cover on it.
Nope, you guys are ready to go like you're in combat, so there's
Okay.
no dust cap cover on it. Bishop, you would know in terms of those checks that you're talking about, aside from basic movements and things like that, you would have already offline worked on lining up your scope and making sure that is where it is. The TC does have access to where your scope is on the outside of the tank, so maybe if it gets dusty or if rain is on there, he can dry it off or clean it off for you just kind of by reaching over and wiping it off with a rag or something like that.
Do we have a secondary MG on top of this?
Yeah, so, well, you have 3 total. So the bow gunner has a 30 cal. Bishop, along with his main gun, has a 30 cal. It's considered its coax.
Coax, baby!
So it's embedded in the turret of the tank. So it turns with the main gun and the main turret. And Bishop has control of that with his foot pedal. And
So is it like a ball joint for those two?
No, it's oh yeah, for his is locked in. For bow gun, it's a ball joint.
Okay.
And behind you, or kind of beside you, TC, is a 50 cal, and that was a special request by you prior to have in your experience from being in Sicily and Italy and things like that. You found that when you worked with the troops, or you guys would call them the does, on the ground, the infantry, if they rode with you or if they helped out, sometimes having one of those on the back of that when you push through wherever you're going is a great help against enemy troops in the open, or
So
even
does
aircraft.
Does a 50 cal fall under heavy weapons or ranged combat skills?
That would be a heavy weapons.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. In front of you, I gotta learn your names first. In front of you, buddy guy, Bandito's moving along just at about 15 miles an hour. You guys have sped up just a little bit. The roadway is all dirt. Both sides are thick with both brush and trees, so you don't get to see too much other than light sticking out. Like if someone were to walk through the woods, they might be camouflaged. You might catch a glimpse of it. But for the most part, there's no other way to go. You guys have to stay in the line on this roadway. Dust and dirt is everywhere. Being the second tank, it's not too thick or too cloudy, but visibility is pretty decent. In front of you, as you guys are just moseying on for your nice little ride, you do hear Sergeant Sanchez calls out on the comms. We got Jerry in the woods, 9 o'clock, and the tank in front of him, or the tank in front of you guys, is opening fire and on some sort of target, and it looks like it's either coming from the woods or in front of him.
Do I have a visual?
Give me a perception check.
I'd like to fire up on that too, since I'd be kind of looking through the sight the entire time. Like, that's literally my job.
Okay.
Any modifiers on that?
For perception, for you, TC, it's going to be a -1.
-1?
-1. And Bishop, since you're using your scope to look, you're going to give me a -3.
That... What?
Trust.
Okay, what kind of range are we looking at here?
You don't know yet.
Well, I need to know for abilities, because if it's at longer extreme range, I add a +1 to it.
Okay. No, it's neither of those.
Okay, so perception -3.
Yes.
All right, well then
Yeah, I am definitely not pushing that shit.
yeah.
Because you carry over the foo bars, right, from your actual roll. So, for
Yes.
example, if I were to re-roll this, I would only roll 2, and I would have 3 foo bars.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Roger.
Yep. Correct.
All right.
So if I have no idea where the fire's coming from, other than that side, and I can't spot it, I'm gonna reach for the binoculars.
Okay. Give me since you're doing it with the binoculars, that's a house rule that I added in. When you're using your binoculars to sight stuff in, it's going to be a +1.
So perception again?
Yes.
I've got 1/6.
Okay. So, Bishop, real quick, you don't see anything but the tank in front of you. As you cycle the turret kind of back and forth, for the most part, it looks like Bandito's really just blocking your view of whatever it is that they're shooting at. TC, as you're sitting up top for a second, you are looking around. You do kind of start to see where rounds maybe have gone into the woods, and when you bring up your binoculars, you're able to hone in a little bit just over the top corner of Bandito, and you see what was a silhouette of a German soldier camouflaged in the woods off the left-hand side, and Bandito's crew, or bow gunner, had made quick and easy work of it. And at that point, because you were first gazing and then you switched over to your binoculars, you catch it actually splintering up and falling down.
So the target's already been eliminated.
Correct.
I passed that on to Bishop. Stand down. Target eliminated.
And it's only a few seconds, and the firing stops, and jumps on is Bandito, and they say they have these silhouettes camouflaged pretty good, but guys, one Jerry down.
So have we been given what are our fire orders? Have we been given?
Yeah.
Free?
So that was in your briefing with Lieutenant Fink at the start. So this course is hot in terms of your machine guns, but not your main gun.
Okay.
at this point.
At this point.
Yes. So Big Ugly gets back on the comms and says, nice job. Keep moving. Slow pace, gentlemen. Keep your eyes peeled. Driver, give me an operate test.
All right.
From in a tank.
Okay, I'll use that in a second. Did you have something, Breach?
No. I know that with Bow Gunner, I can assist him in maneuvering the tank using perception checks, but I don't know when that actually applies. Is that just specifically by locating things or helping him interact and move around certain obstacles, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, so anytime he does an operate test, you just have to stop him before he does it. So you have to announce
That's
it.
what I was.
And you have
That's
to
what I was
announce,
getting ready to say.
Yeah, sorry. So you just announce basically what you want to do, whether that's calling out the tank in front of you, how far away it is, calling out like obstacles on the side or things like that. For the most part, it's just helping guide the tank as he drives along.
Copy.
All right. So you did your test. So and you notice this, Pines, just as much as Buddy Guy does. But as you guys start to move out again, he starts to get pretty damn close to the ass end of Bandito.
Who notices this? We all do?
Yeah, all three of you that are up and out.
Guy, be advised, you're getting a little close in the front.
Oh, close. I'm just ready, really ready to go. I'd start easing off the throttle a little bit.
Okay. So you guys start to move out again. The road still in this area is pretty narrow, still filled with trees and brush on either side. And you guys start to go some more. And what I need from Preacher, Wolf, and Buddy Guy is I need a perception check. This is not in a distance, so you don't have to have any negative modifiers there, Bishop. But everybody do your perception check at a -1.
Am I still rolling at -3?
You are, yes.
How long does my nervous stay in effect for? Since I did smoke that cigarette immediately after, is that a timer, or how does that work?
That's kind of more based on whether you, like how often you smoke, or what I decide, basically kind of GM's growth. So if you reach your hand in your pocket and play with your pocket knife, or if you, because you're obviously a smoker, so doing just one of them isn't gonna really bring you down from what you just seen. So it may take a couple more before that happens.
Okay.
Do I have to use my lucky strike to add dice before I do the roll?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just have to declare it. Since we're learning, you can certainly, we can re-roll that since we're learning how to do everything and trying to help you out with
I'm good for now.
those checks. But also, if you look in the rules sheet that I gave you, under making a skill check, if you scroll down, it talks about lucky strikes and foo bars, and those are also on page 59. Yeah! There he is. And that tells you what you can do with your lucky strikes.
I look fucking insane.
You look awesome.
Yeah, that's a weird way to say fucking amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Breach. So as the tank starts to go along,
racing.
this ain't pod racing. As you start to go along, nobody else sees this. Oh, hey TC, you didn't make your roll. Give me a perception check -1. No modifiers if you're using your binoculars.
Okay.
Look at those goggles. You get some kind of modifier for those.
You said -1, right?
Yes, -1 if you're just going straight eyes.
Well, no, I would be using binoculars at this point.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Then zeros. Just no
What page
modifiers.
did you say the Lucky Strike thing was on?
260.
Page 59.
Thank you.
Yes. 2 successes. What do you want to do with your 1?
Can I still bank it?
Yeah, do you have 2 or do you only have 1?
I had 2 6s.
No, how many lucky strikes do you have?
Oh, right. Is it, well,
2
what-
2
how
is
does-
the
what's-
max.
2 is the, yeah, I currently have 2
Okay.
banked.
So, you
Is
can
there,
do a
is there a
couple
general
things.
pot?
No, there is no general pot. So you can do a couple things. It adds +1 to damage. You can move your initiative by 2. Or you can give it to a teammate as long as you explain how you're helping or maybe how you're motivating that person that you're giving it to.
Yeah, do we have a target? Sorry, I was fucking around with my helmet.
Yes, that's basically what this roll is for.
Okay, so I have identified a target.
Yeah, so off to your right, in the woods, pretty well camouflaged at this point, another silhouette pops up, and it looks to be another German soldier. And the way the outline of it looks like he might be holding some sort of long tubular thing.
Okay, so I can get the jump on him. Well, I presume these are just, silhouettes, so I'm not really getting the jump on him initiative-wise, right?
Correct. Yeah, right now this is more of warming you guys up, so there's no initiative or combat order currently.
Okay, well, can I give him to Bishop?
Yeah, you can call it out. So Bishop doesn't see anything, but you,
Yeah, I'll call out the target. I'll
Preacher, both see it pop up.
well, I'm talking about the Lucky Strikes. I'm gonna give him to
okay.
Bishop to use for.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Reference point 800 right, 3 o'clock, 6 degrees, trench.
Already on it, TC. As I slide down into my spot. Clear to engage.
Clear to engage. Fire.
All right,
1.
General, what we got on that? So we are going to go for a shot with the 30 Mike. Where we?
Okay. And just to bounce off of what your TC was saying to Bishop, so when he calls that out, Bishop, you're able to move the turret also in that direction, and it is an 800 out. It's probably about 100 meters out or 100 feet out. Sorry, 100 meters, and it's in the woods, and it's actually just as Bandito starts to pull up. So they're pulling up, and it pops up. The target does. So they don't see it, but you guys do.
What's the range of fire? Not the as in distance, but the angle, range of fire for the bow gunner.
So the bow gunner.
Is it like 90
also
degrees?
What's that? It's
like 90
it's
degrees?
about 42 degrees. It's almost the same as the tank's main weapon if it was just pointing straight ahead.
Well,
At least that's-
I guess what I'm asking is, can he hit targets off to the sides?
Yes, he'll be able to reach this. Yes,
Okay.
off to a distance.
And-
Yeah, not so much past the front fender, the front right fender of your tank. So if it's basically from the front right fender to the right, like that far over, and you're close, you're not going to be able to see it. But farther out, yes, you'll be able to see
Yeah.
it. So
Okay,
it's
I get it.
about 42 degrees.
And just for the sake of this, mechanically, I'm gonna burst. I'm not gonna full auto.
Okay, yeah. So for you, double click on the tank sheet.
Heavy weapons.
Yeah, well, not yet.
Yeah,
So
whenever.
you don't have to do anything in cruise since you're using a weapon. This is what we're gonna do. So you have the
Okay.
machine gun, right? And you see that
yes.
listed under the weapons. You class 2 AP, HE, WP, and then 19 30 cal.
Yeah.
That's your weapon, but it's also the same weapon should Wolf use if he uses a coax. The stats are already in there.
Okay.
Let's see. So your skill bonus is based off of your sheet. The rate of fire. If you do you have two options. You have burst, which simulates your trigger control, and you have full auto, which is pressing it down. Burst, you use 5 rounds. Full auto, you use 50. And they come with different positive modifiers to what you're doing. Okay?
Got you.
So that's your first decision is, do you want to fire a burst or do you want to fire full auto?
We're going to go burst.
Okay. Now, your other two choices are firing direct, which essentially means you're firing to kill, or suppression. And what that means is if you succeed, you suppress the actual people you're shooting at. You don't actually kill them. You can later by using a lucky strike. That's different rules for combat, but for now, you have a choice between direct and suppress.
For the sake of this, we would have had the conversation beforehand if we were doing cover fire versus, kill fire, right? So it would be understood that I would go for kill essentially on this one.
Okay. So on that line, all the way to the far right, you see where it says roll attack. So click the button.
We doing class, you said?
No. Under combat, you see 1930 cal?
Yeah, there it is. I see it now. Yeah.
All right, so click it. So you're going to have -1 because of the camouflage. And it's in 100 meters. So it's going to be minus another modifier because of the range, because it's considered medium range.
Okay.
Now, because you're firing burst, right? You said burst?
Yep.
And you're firing direct, that's a +3. So your modifier is going to be +1. Total.
+1 total.
Yep. So you would just add 1 into that.
Yep.
And then
ready to roll?
Ready to roll. Yes, sir. Okay. And I'll get to what happens with you real quick. Bishop, since your TC called out to you what was going on, tell me what you're doing.
So I had immediately moved the turret over in that direction so that I have a field of view with the coax 30 cal. But given that it's troops in the wire, we have a bow gunner for that. I'm not going to fire off a burst unless it's absolutely necessary. So like his every 5th round or whatever is going to be a tracer. So if I see that tracer go wide at all, then I would immediately press down on foot pedal. So my foot pedal, I'm aimed in on the area and my foot is just waiting to see if he splatters this fool.
We'll kind of call that like a Overwatch.
Yeah.
So in the game, that would be like Overwatch for you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. So you had 2 successes, or so you had 1 success. So tell me what happens because you take down this silhouette there, Preach.
So I get the call from TC. He calls it out. Like you said, I'd automatically, me and him saw it at the same time. So as I'm on the radio, I slide down into position, man controls, and luckily enough, I was already set in the general area as like a preset, and I just whip on it, and you actually watch 4 rounds go straight up from like mid area to head, and that tracer actually just disintegrates the top of the head. Bishop actually watches the tracer just explode the head on the target.
I'd call out, target down.
Leave me, Charlie.
Bandito gets up on the air, and let me see where he's at here. It's Sergeant Sanchez, and he says, "Thanks, Blackjack. You just saved our ass."
Only because it's so pretty from back here, boys.
All right. So also, Preach, just so you're aware, you don't have to be inside of the tank. Like, you don't have to be buttoned up to shoot your bow gun. So essentially, you could be still up and out, and it's right in front of you. So you could just be like, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
But when you go inside, you're using your scope at that point.
Oh,
To
okay.
shoot.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah, you don't have to be inside to do it. Just so you're aware. That's all. So it's not that long that the tanks veer off to the left, and pass a sign on both sides of the road that says ceasefire 3 times, and it's kind of in a striped black and white form. The tree and the brush line eventually taper off, and there's nothing left but open field. TC, perception check. And you won't need your goggles for this.
Any modifiers?
Negative.
Negative modifiers?
Nope.
What? 1-6.
1-6. So up ahead, you see a cadre, and he's kind of directing you in. He's directing all the tanks in. So Bandito kind of comes in around, and then he's directing you to bring your tank up next to Bandito.
Okay. I call this out to Buddy.
Affirmative.
Okay, buddy guy, give me an operate test +2.
All right.
So you're able to bring the tank into a resting position next to Bandito with no issues. You guys are lined up abreast, and 50 feet to your left, Big Ugly pulls up, and to the right again is Bandito. Trailing in the rear of the convoy, you guys didn't notice, but it was a large deuce and a half, and it looked to be filled with other cadre members. Maybe they're for the different parts of the range, but they pull up and they pull off to the side behind you guys, and they all start to file out. In front of you, like I said, is an open field as far as the eye can see. There are obvious craters from previous tankers practicing their shots. Less than an hour at this point has passed since you guys have woke up. So the sun now is kind of up in the sky. It has risen. The breeze is still there, and the air is cool, but the inside of the tank, now that you guys have stopped, is starting to get stuffy. The several cadre members, as they pour off of the truck, start to form out in front of each of you. Each tank seems to have one assigned to them. There's one standing in the middle that looks to be in charge, and he's making for a sign to have you all cut your engines.
Cut engines.
I comply and cut the engine.
Okay. And so he starts to shout, and he says, "All right, this is y'all's first rodeo, so I'll cut to the chase. Safety is our #1 concern on this range. If you have issues or see any danger, you call it out. Each tank has its own firing line, so stay in your lane. Once the range is hot, large wooden silhouettes that resemble tanks and infantry will pop up. It is on you and your tank commander as to how you respond. You will be graded on your responses, your timing, and your accuracy. There will be times when multiple targets pop up. That can be tanks and or infantry. So Boggs, make sure you're ready. TCs, keep those eyes focused. Once complete, we will call a ceasefire and wave these red flags." And in front of you kind of waves a red flag. He shifts a knife hand out to all the tanks, and he says, "Do I have any questions from any of you?" None of the tanks speak.
Actually, yes. This is still machine guns only.
Negative. You are cleared to use whatever round you feel necessary, TC.
Understood.
He looks around and says, "Anyone else?" And when nothing pops up, he kind of steps off to the side and moves back to an observation post that kind of sits behind you guys way up into the air. And the cadre standing nearest to you, TC, he points up to you and he says, "All right, TC, fire up your tank and let me know when you and your crew are ready."
Okay, buddy. Fire up.
All right. Turn her back on.
What's the rank of the instructor?
He is the sergeant first class.
Okay. Sergeant,
First
we're ready to roll.
And he says, "Understood." And he holds up a green flag next to your tank, and soon follows is the rest of the other tanks. They all start to get green flags as well. So once they get all the green flags and hold up a thumb up, they kind of wave a green flag and signals hot. And he looks up to you, TC, and he says, "Roger that, TC. It's on you. Good luck." And so here's what we're going to do.
Is this a stationary range, or is this going to be...
This round is a stationary range. What we're going to do is basically we'll simulate initiative so you guys can kind of get into the role and understand how that feels. And then as each of you go to do your turns and rolls in combat, we'll kind of walk through and talk through that. Is everybody okay to do till 1:30?
Yeah,
you guys okay with that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Let me send a message, and then I'll let you know.
Okay. Cut me off if you need to. So we're going to do initiative for this first. And so what I'm going to do is I won't select the tank, but I'll select maybe the other stuff that pops up. So give me 1 second here. All right. So I'll do your initiative here, and you guys can see that in the swords in the top right corner of Foundry. And let me see here. Okay. So, first things first, as you guys are sitting there waiting for targets to pop up, TC, you got your eyes out there. And
okay. Second section. I say on the internal mic. Second section. We are hot. I repeat, we are hot.
Bandito jumps on and he says, "Copy that, Sarge. We're looking." And so out in front of you pops the first two silhouettes, first three silhouettes, and they resemble several groups of soldiers and what looks to be a tank that's facing you.
Okay, and I spot that?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. So on your sword over here for initiative, you'll see that Buddy Guy is first, and so on down the list. So at this point, we'll start with you, Buddy Guy. Okay, and then I'll give you your options in combat, and you can decide what you want to do from there. Okay.
Okay.
So first off, in combat, if you're not moving the tank, your main purpose is to help line up the shots for the gunner. And that is done
like the main gun.
Yes,
Big
correct.
Gun.
Yep. And that's done also simply by a normal operate check because you're still moving the tank. In combat, it's like Aliens. You have one slow and one fast, or two fast actions. So in your rules reference that I made up top, if you click on combat, you'll see your slow action choices and your fast action choices. Both of your choices there, Sev, is based on movement. And they're both the same. So your slow action move will actually get you 20 meters. Your fast action move will actually get you 10. Since this is a stationary range, this is going to be more about you positioning the tank in a manner that the gunner barely has to move the turret to line up his shot. If that makes sense.
So I'm allowed to. Is it completely stationary, or you're saying where I'm allowed to angle the tank within the lane?
Yeah, you're allowed to angle the tank within the lane, but you're not allowed to go forward. Yep, or backwards.
Okay. Okay, so I will be assisting with that. I see those targets pop up, move the track so that the tank starts angling that direction.
Okay, so go ahead and give me...
Shouldn't I be calling out commands here, General?
Yes, but it's all based on initiative order.
Okay.
So everybody gets to go at a certain order. So it's...
No, I get that, but just intuitively speaking, the guys are taking actions before I actually say anything.
Yes, you are correct. Yes,
okay.
So you would want to call stuff out before they start to move. Yes. And you can do that without taking your turn, but there's no modifiers yet.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So I couldn't use like my +1 command
Correct. Yeah.
on this.
So as we start to learn each position, you'll see where sometimes a bunch of the players may want to. It's called delay. They may want to delay their turn after a certain person goes, or farther down on the initiative list, so that certain things line up. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I just in this case, I'd call out. Well, where is it in the field division, anyways? Where is it on the range?
Do you have your map up from Foundry?
Yep.
It's going to be on the east side. Is where you see him at.
In the LBC.
Mm-hmm.
This guy gets it.
Okay. Well, in that case, I would shout out the reference point, 500 right, 2 o'clock, 6 degrees, tank. Thereby saying tank is priority target.
Okay. So driver, you're up and you want to operate and turn it. So go ahead and move the tank.
Now, in initiative, can I still help him with his operator, or is that just an out of combat thing?
You can, but it's going to take up one of your actions.
Okay, that's what I figured. I just didn't know if I could do that in and out of combat as well.
Yeah. You just have to speak up before he does it.
Okay.
Driver?
Yes.
So did you do your operate roll?
Oh, I didn't need to roll. Okay, I'll do the roll. I just moved the tank.
It's gonna be a
literally
plus
token. I
3
shifted
because
it.
you're simply moving it.
Yeah. Okay. 3. There you go.
So you have an extra success. In this, aside from what we've talked about in terms of lucky strikes or giving it off to somebody, any extra successes that the driver has can be given to the gunner when he goes to make his shot. So it's essentially saying, you've lined him up perfectly. It gives him a bonus of +1.
Okay. Cool.
And do I have any impact on that by calling out?
You
target?
will, yes, once it's actually your turn to do some rolls.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Yep. So
Yeah, once it's actually your turn, man.
What?
that-
Sorry if you said this already. What is initiative based on? I see that there's initiative cards,
yeah,
or is it
It's-
a roll?
yeah, no, it's their cards. They draw 1 to 10, and the numbers tell you where you go or when you start.
Each player draws 1 to 10, or is it 1 to 10 for everyone?
No, it's each player draws 1 to 10. So you could have several people with 2
The same
or
number.
several people with yep.
Okay.
So that was your slow action. Basically, at this point, outside of what you did, you've already lined them up perfectly, so you don't need to utilize your second action. Your fast action, unless you want to.
I don't think there's anything else I can really do here, so I just kind of sit there ready. Don't use anything
Yeah, a
else.
lot of the
Rather action.
inside of the tank is real slow action focused for each
Yeah.
each of your positions. So you guys will find that a lot of the fast actions might not really work for you. Okay? You all done?
All right.
All right.
I am.
So, TC, you're up next in the initiative order. So this is where you have quite a few options as the TC that you can do. Under the rules that I made for you guys under crew combat, tank commander is you. So there's several things here for you. First, and most importantly, your job is to find targets and range them for the gunner, right? So to simulate that, to simulate help ranging the target or helping move the turret in place, the TC makes a perception check. If you're doing the check without the field glasses and the target's farther than 100 meters away, it's going to be a negative modifier because our eyes just aren't that good.
Right.
If you're making the check with field glasses, it's going to be a +1. Success on that perception check is going to give the gunner 1 extra success that he can use towards his shot. If it fails, that takes the gunner's base shot from a -2 to a -1. Because you've helped him, but you haven't exactly completely ranged the target just yet.
Gotcha.
You could also issue an order if you're inside the tank. And so if you're inside the tank, your field of view obviously is much more limited. So your perceptions checks go to -2. And then lastly, you can operate on the radio or speak on the radio once we're in combat to switch the channels. Those will have different actions for you. And that's a house rule.
Okay, so do I have a range?
So give me a perception check of a +1 if you're using
I'm using
your
the glasses.
Yeah. And then any other modifiers you might have in your plethora.
Can I use my +1 command?
No, because this is a perception check.
Okay.
Just yet. So out in front of you, as you start to confirm what's out there based on your initial reactions, you do have one tank that looks to be the silhouette of a Panzer IV, and more specifically, the tank is 128 meters out.
128 meters out. Okay, so I shout out, HE, load, 180, fire, 1 round.
Calvin, shit. Oh.
Sorry, hang on 1 second. So that's your slow action, TC.
Yeah.
Your fast action really is up to you. Again, the
There's
choices.
nothing else I can really do.
Yeah, you can do an order, like order somebody to do something. Generally, what that means is it simulates your ability to coordinate with the squad actions with deadly efficiency.
Yeah, but isn't that what I just did? Give an order?
Yeah, you're calling it out for him. It's more of a trying like this. The ability of this is if you make this command test, it allows one ally in earshot, whoever you're talking to act at the initiative of you. So
Okay.
say your gunner's all the way last and there's several enemies in between. Once you make your perception check and call out those directions and whatever it is, you can use your command and he can act. If it's successful, he can act at the point you're at right now. But he has to give up his fast action. And he's got to use his slow action to do his normal turn.
Oh, huh. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and the idea behind your perceptions checks is you're helping line up the tank and the gunner to your actions.
Well, then, rather than give an additional command, can I just roll to give my +1 command from my my tactician skill to give, as you said, my current initiative to Bishop. Man, I explained that really badly. Did you understand what I asked?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can, but he's gonna, if he doesn't decide to do it, remember your loader still needs to load.
Yeah, he still needs time to put that in.
Yep.
Well, then I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna
Okay.
leave it just like that.
Okay. Like if the initiative had been different and your loader had already loaded.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Then that makes sense. So okay, so you're set, and so now, Gunner, we're on to you.
Did we have anything
Bishop.
in the pipe when we took off?
No.
No. All right. So I'm going to hold my action until after Calvin.
Okay.
I'm going to call over to him. HE into the pipe, load. Then I'll hold my action until after he's gone.
Okay. Copy that. So we have a couple enemies in between. They're not shooting at you this time or anything like that. So we're going to essentially skip them, but they're just here to help with mixing up your guys' order. a little bit. So then that means we're on to your loader, Calvin Horner.
Calvin calls out in response to Bishop, HE load!
Okay, so also in those rules reference loader, your main job is to load the tank based on what you're called out. For you, it's a heavy weapons test. You have the tank's loading modifier, which is already in there, and any other modifiers you might have. So if you roll using your sheet, you're going to have to make sure you add in a +1 for the loading modifier. If you're using the tank's sheet under crew, you don't have to do that. It already takes that into effect. Okay.
So, question for you.
Yes, sir.
General, could I have used my my fast action just to give Everett a heads up to open fire on the troops?
Yes.
On the ground?
Yep, that is an option. Would you? We can
I
go
would
back
like
to that
to do
real
that,
quick
but
if you want to do that.
did I blow
bounce
that?
in on Hades, since we're kind of learning our positions here. You good with that, Hades?
Do what now? We're
Doing a quick
counting.
pause to allow Forlath to use his other move real quick, since we're learning our positions.
Yeah, then I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pass on that command
Okay.
to Private Everett.
So roll command.
Oh, sorry, Private Gunner. Oh, sorry, Private Pines. I'll get it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to roll that command.
Yep, and you get a +1 because of your talent or specialization, which is Tactician 1.
And does it do it automatically? No?
No, you'll have to add that in.
Okay, got it. What the? What?
So you're successful. You have an extra success. What do you want to do with that?
I give it to Everett.
Okay. So Everett, to be able to act on this turn, you have to give up your fast action, which for you really comes down to not much. Just giving out, ignoring your ability to maybe assist the driver, because your shooting is a ranged attack, and that's a slow action. So if you want, you give up your fast action, but you can act now.
Okay. Did we finish up Calvin's turn, or is this still kind of going as one thing?
We're putting Calvin on hold so the TC could finish up his turn.
10-4.
Just as we learn each other's options and things like that. So I just wanted to fall back to that.
Gotcha. So, forsake the fast action because I'm going off TC's orders to take the machine gun and light up ground units, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. I can do that. Are we rolling from the tank, or are we rolling from my sheet?
For you, the easiest is going to be from the tank. So once you open it up,
Same thing.
yeah, as long as you don't have any, we'll go through what you need to pick. Do you have any special talents or anything that help?
I do have the Eagle Eye, which is the longer extreme range. Same thing that.
Okay.
Same thing that Judge was talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So those won't come into effect because it's considered medium range.
That's what I thought. So yeah.
Quick question though. Quick question, because I looked everywhere and I could not find in the house rules or the game rules where ranges are.
Let's see. Hang on 1 second.
He said it's because they're in my head.
In my head.
And the rules that I have typed up.
range on me.
If you go to ranged attacks, number 6, and scroll all the way down. Or scroll,
Yep, that's where I was. Ranged attacks.
So you see
Alright.
ranged penalty -1, -2,
Yep.
-3.
Yep.
Medium range is short range double. Long range is medium range double.
So
Extreme
what's medium range then?
So that depends on the weapon used. So
Oh,
if you look
son
at
of
the
a
tank,
bitch! I want a number.
if you look at the tank under combat, I'm getting there. Under combat, you see range. So that's considered its short range. So you look at the 30 cal, its
Got it.
short range is
I'm
90.
tracking now. I can do
All right.
that. Got it. Carry on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Nope, it's all good.
So yeah, Everett, medium range, because it falls, because he said it was what, 128? So you don't have any modifiers in terms of range. Are you using a burst or full auto?
I would say that for the first attack, Everett would he would burst, just to like get a feel for the range, and then after that we would probably go into a full auto after.
Quick question on that, actually, since I got a 30 cal too.
Yes.
If I remember right from when we played with that little play-by email thing, when you do full auto, you can spread that out within a certain range, right?
Yeah, it's basically you have to call that out. So like, are you talking about like trying to hit multiple people at once?
Right, like, so I mean, if Sweet Pea starts going full auto, he goes all ham. I don't remember what the range is that you can shoot one group from to the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they consider it as long as it's in the same zone that you could do that. And I would consider that the troops just to the left or to the northwest in the same zone. I don't have any zones marked, but I would consider that in the same zone, or basically right on the edge of that zone.
That's because you're in the zone.
In the zone. Auto zone.
Change your zone.
Okay, so Sweet Pea, you said burst, right?
Yes, sir.
And are you looking to kill, or are you looking to suppress?
I'm looking to kill.
Okay, so your modifier is going to be -1 for medium range, and then +3 for burst and direct. So you're essentially going to be doing a +2 in your modifier.
Understand. +2 modifier. You ready for a roll?
Yes, sir. Okay, so which one are you focusing on?
Sorry, what was that?
Which group of guys are you focusing on? This one? This one?
Probably the set furthest away from the tank to start.
This one right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you hit it and you knock it down. So I guess tell me what happens.
So you see Everett. He turns the gun sideways, and then kind of like you almost think for a minute that he's just gonna like just let it go and give her the beans, and then at the last second he just kind of like lets off and goes to hit again, only to watch all of like his tracer hit, and he knocks him down, and even he's kind of surprised by his accuracy on that. So he kind of like he lets out of the slack in the trigger essentially.
Nice. So you see that that silhouette drop down, and it is DED dead.
1230 down, target TC.
Okay, so now we're back up to the loader. You had rolled a 0 on your initial roll there.
No, you didn't. You didn't see that?
Okay, I didn't see that.
No, he did.
Yeah, all that stuff happened. I don't even
all that stuff. I mean, how could he do an appropriate roll whenever you had Forlath coming in and changing what he wanted to do, and then we had to shoot a machine gun? I mean, how could you even remember what he rolled?
Wow.
I don't. You're right.
That changes everything that was going on. So
Wow.
Changed his roll. I mean, it's dice. It would have been his success, but Preacher stole it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. Loader. So yours to load the gun is heavy weapons, and you can load it whatever you want, or you can listen to your TC.
Well, it was Bishop who told me. What did the TC change? What round we were using?
No, he called it out too, and Bishop relayed it.
Okay. Bishop, low on my dice.
Bishop! I am a dice.
HE, load! Okay.
So you have an extra success with that. You can. Let's see where we at here. Yeah, with the extra success, it's up to you. You're able to load the gun twice and run round, but generally you're not able to shoot the gun twice and run round. That's one of the house rules. So you'll be able to load again if right after he shoots. But in the future, should you get 2 successes and you use it towards this would allow you to load it fast enough to allow the gunner to shoot twice, which technically should be pretty rare, but it just means you guys are kicking some ass and moving pretty good. So +1 success, you just can load it around another round at this point if you want.
Another question on that, because otherwise I could use it for a lucky strike, right?
Yes, correct.
Can you use them to cancel out foobars, or just only give yourself a lucky strike?
So lucky strikes, basically you would have to use it. There's several ways that you can do it. When you push your luck, it does stuff. It adds 2 to your dice pool. Reroll some damage.
Because I got foobars when I was cranking up the tank earlier. Like, I can't use that success to kill those foobars, can I?
No, you cannot.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll keep that on hand in case we can get, depending on how his shot goes, in case we can get a second shot off.
Okay.
And I shout, HE loaded!
So because I deferred, that takes it to me, correct?
It does, yes.
So the minute that he says loaded, with buddy guy aiming everything in, I was able to make kind of like just a really fine-tuned adjustment to lower down the barrel slightly. Just try and get into that gap in between the turret and the main body of the tank. And I'm immediately slamming on that foot pedal and yelling, "Away!"
Copy that. So, just a quick cover on your rules. Your field of vision is 42 degrees. That's kind of why I have the giant fan right there.
Caplet.
See, and that can be adjusted when we move the turret, things like that. Basically, if Forlath hadn't called that out and hadn't been on his perception check, shooting the gun just without any other modifiers for you would be a -1, and that's to simulate the difficulty of shooting and ranging a target just with your scope. But since your TC helped you, you get a +1 to your shot here. Should you want to use your coax, that's a tech test also, since it's simply a push of the button. And then your other option is to move the turret if maybe your driver didn't line you up perfectly. And you have the ability to do it electronically unless that gets knocked out, or with a hand crank, and those are different options. So just wanted to review with you your abilities here.
Slow is the 10 meter or 10 degree hand crank, 15 degree fast movement with the electrical.
Yes.
All right, so now question, can I use my coax to aim? So
yeah,
right,
to help
like that's
line
kind
your
of
shot up.
yeah,
if
that's
you
kind
wanted
of like
to.
the purpose of a coax, right? Is to basically you see where the shots are going.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I've already been ranged out and everything, so I would imagine that just shooting the HE is probably the main way to go here.
Yes.
So I get, let's see here, I'm going to click the button, roll modifier, so I get 1 for Forlath, I get 1 for buddy guy.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
We're at medium range, which doesn't do anything to my modifier for range.
Correct.
And that doesn't do anything for my plus or minus. I get a +1 for shooting what you wrote down as my bug guns. That's an ability that I have. Let's see here. So combat, talents and specializations. Big guns 1, +1 for firing mortar, artillery, cannons, or tank guns. So that'd be a total +3.
Yes.
All right, here we go. So away. Oh, fuck right off. Oh, there's 1.
You got one.
There.
You got one.
Okay.
All right. So All right, so I guess walk us through here what happens.
So, HE round hitting wood is pretty spectacular. It doesn't go where I wanted it to. It hits it in the turret, but the HE round goes off on impact and blows up and sends the upper half of the plywood or wood or whatever it is flying into the air. I immediately look down to the gunner, load HE, or the loader, load HE.
HE. So I get to spend that to load again because of my thing before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, I meant to aim too. All right, next time. Aim.
You
Fast
can't-
action, aim.
You can't aim with the tank.
What? Why? I got a
Just-
sight.
just
Doesn't say
not
anything
ruling
about
the game.
tank guns. It says,
I mean-
it says artillery.
Does it say artillery?
It says mortars, artillery. I read your rules.
Okay. Well, then I forgot about it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I get it, right? There's no aiming. I already got I can shoot a big gun from inside of a fucking metal box. Why should I be able to aim? I get it. Totally makes sense.
So I got a success there, so
Okay. so
Horner
you pop
would have
in,
shouted, loading HE! And then, you hear the clank of me doing that, and then, she's fed!
Okay. So, that is the first round of combat. So that kind of gives you guys an idea of what you guys' positions do and how you guys have to kind of rely on each other in terms of those roles. Does anybody have any questions on that?
How'd you get so handsome?
And then one other thing.
Were you gonna just ignore my question?
No, did you see my hair flip? You didn't see my hair flip? It's natural. It's the gun grease.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were ignoring me. I was looking at the map. I wasn't looking at
No. So one other thing, and you guys would know this. HE is considered high explosive. It's mainly used for blowing shit up. In terms of fighting tanks and things like that, that's where you want to use your AP. That will penetrate in. For the sake of the range, it does obviously blow up both. Hang on one second.
No, you're right. You're right. I knew it was a stand-up cutout, and that's why I said HE. But you're right. If this was armor, we would have wanted an armor piercing.
We would have
Nice.
loaded AP.
I half
So-
assumed it was because there were people standing outside of it, that we might do damage to the tank and give them some nice shrapnel.
So you could do that, yeah. So basically, HE does have a blast, a 15-meter blast radius. Had those guys been in it, yes. But also, using HE on a tank, you're basically ringing their bell. And they found that, and you, TC, would know this, and Bishop, you would know this also, that this is a solid tactic to fight against the bigger cats when you know you have no other view but their front side. Is you would pound them with HE to ring their bell, to make them become disoriented. But it had the tendency to mess up some of their equipment on the inside or cause problems with their equipment on the inside. So that would have been a solid tactic for you to fight against the big cats.
Yeah, that's actually what I was doing. I didn't want to brag.
I knew it. I knew
That's
you
what I
knew what you were
figured,
doing.
you know? Okay, so you guys good with another round on this part? Just to iron it out a little bit more? And then we'll finish up for the day?
Hit him.
Sounds good.
Okay. So give me 1 second here. So 1, 2. Okay, so you guys are starting to fire away. All your other tanks are also starting to fire away. Smoke is starting to kind of sit around in the area, in your guys' eyes and nose, especially on the inside of the tank. They're starting to get a little stingy a little bit, and this is all from the smoke and the cordite as the round pops out of the tank into the basket. So, that does start to get to you, but it's, for some of you, it's almost like a calming thing. Like this is home. This is how it's supposed to be. So as you knock those two down, not too long, a few moments later, a couple more pop up. So let me add these to the initiative. That. Oops.
Was the Panzer IV the Panthers?
The Panzer IV was not the Panther. That was a 5. A Tiger's basically a Panzer VI, but they never called it that.
Okay.
And so I'll draw all for you, and then that doesn't work. So out in the distance, you see another tank pop up and another group of soldiers. It's sort of more to the north, obviously, but aside from those two, the other troops in the open, those guys do stay up at this point. So as you can,
we're back to 3 targets, 2 troops, 1 tank.
Correct. Yes. And at the top of the order of combat on initiative is the TC. So
Get on that
first,
50
sir.
cal, Top.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, no, I don't have heavy weapons skill. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Well, that's
Well,
about
with
as
me,
more
okay.
accurate
I
as
don't
it
know what to
gets.
do with my hands.
Yeah, those who can't shoot, fucking point.
Can I do that? Can I do that, General? Can I shout orders and still jump up on that 50 cal?
Yeah, if you want.
Hey,
the
I
only thing you're not
preloaded
going to
the
be able to
gun.
do is when you take your turn, you're not going to be able to perceive the call
What,
out for
perception?
for your
So
gun.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I can't call the shot if I do that.
You can call it. It's just in terms of game mechanics, it's not going to give your gunner any bonuses.
Okay, well then I'm going to stick with the perception. I'm going to roll perception.
Okay.
And
So give me a.
Presumably the 50 cal would have to be loaded first, anyways, right?
And you'd probably go into it loaded anyway, but yeah.
I'd say if you're 3 done their fucking job, it is loaded.
What's
I did my
modifier on
job.
this?
+1 if you're using your field glasses.
Yeah. Fuck.
Would you like to push your roll?
I'm going to push it.
Okay. You can
real
re-roll
good.
the full roll because you have no duds and you have no successes.
Do I get to use the 1 again?
Yes. So you re-roll the full set of dice.
And I get a
And
6.
no foobar. Look at that.
Hey.
Lucky
I don't
guy.
know how to
About
do it.
blow up. I
All right. So TC, you're able to see out at 370 meters. Not only another set of troops in the open, but the silhouette of a Panther tank.
Okay. I shout out reference point 370, straight ahead, 12 o'clock, tank. And then I say to, and then I shout to Private Bynes, Sweet Pea, free target.
Copy.
Real quick, TC, give me a command roll. And that one was +1. Your talent.
Three sixes.
Okay, so for you, what do you want to do with those 2 successes?
Split them up. Give one to, I'm still learning these names. One to Bishop and one to Pines.
Okay. If you hover on their characters too, their names will show up. So how are you going to simulate giving one to Bishop? Is that just basically from what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Preach, is that what you want to do?
What's that?
Are you following up his command to fire some troops in the open?
Yeah.
Okay. So you give up your fast action to act now.
Mhm.
And then how are we shooting?
We're gonna go 1919 full auto.
1919 full auto. Are you looking to kill?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. So that was 370 meters, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with this. First off, because it's full auto and it's direct, is what it's called, you're starting off with +4. Okay?
Yep.
Because of distance, so 90-90 is 180, that's your medium. 180 and 180 is 360. That's your long range. I think it was 370. Are you going to the long one or the short one in front of you?
Well, that depends. Does Eagle Eye falls into this, right? Or that's just perception tests.
No, Eagle Eye would fall into this.
Okay, so it just says +1 to perception tests at long or extreme range. Reduce range penalties for range attacks by 1.
Yeah, so that would fall for your ranged attack, yes.
Okay.
If you're going for, depending on which one you're going for.
I think for the sake of mechanics, this is kind of a more or less trial and error, figure out how this works. I want to full auto the long set, the big boys back here, just to see how it works and using that mechanic.
Okay. So and then I was checking it as obviously as you said that to make sure it fell in your guys' arc.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, then your obvious choice would have been this one. But okay. So you turn the bow gun towards that group. That's 370 meters. That's considered 180, 360s long. So that's considered extreme range for you. So that's -3. But with your talent, it's going to be -2. So -2 on that.
Yep.
There's no other modifiers, no smoke, nothing obscuring your vision, anything like that. So when you go to do your roll on skills, or sorry, on the tank, using weapons, you're doing a +2 here.
A +2 here?
Yep.
All right, sending it. Heyo.
There you go. So in the future, if you're not keeping any lucky strikes, you can use them for damage. That's +1 for damage.
So I have
You have
1
3 extras.
or no. Yeah. Throw them all in there. Let's do it. Let's annihilate them.
Okay. So I guess tell me what happens to that group of soldiers' targets, silhouettes.
So you hear over the comms, you hear TC call for free target, and you actually just kind of hear like a brief chuckle, and you're like, I was hoping he'd say that, and then you just hear like as loud as it could possibly, and I'm literally just kind of like, it almost looks like he's trying to write his name, like he's just like all over him, but still managing to like barely even miss. It's just tagging them all the way through, and then after it's done, I just like blast one more, just right in the center of them for S&Gs.
And you see those silhouettes all drop down, simulating that you hit the target. Okay, so that was the end of TC's turn. And where's Everett's fast action and slow action. So you're essentially getting skipped here in a minute, but we're up to the gunner.
Fast action is going to be to rotate using the electrical system 15 degrees to the left-hand side to line up with the tank that's out there.
Okay.
HE's already in the pipe. Once the turret's been aligned, going to aim in right on the ass end of that and away. So my understanding is it's 200 meters for the range of the main gun. So that's within the 400 meters. That puts it at medium range, which is at -1. My ability is only at long and extreme, so that doesn't count for this. Using the +1 from Forlath, I'm also going to use a lucky strike, which gives me a +2, and then my big guns ability, which gives me +4, and the -1 for the range. So that'd be a total of the gun +3.
Okay, and remember, you already have one in the tube. It's HE. Now
Correct.
Thanks to your loader.
Yep.
All right, so send it.
Zoop! Away! So, I turn the turret, line up on the ass end, slam on the pedal, away!
Okay, you wanna push it?
Yeah, you goddamn right. I want to push it. 'Cause I'm angry-eyed now.
Okay.
Let's see. Was there any food bars in that I couldn't see?
Yeah, there are 2. So reroll
Okay,
10 d6.
Yep, I'm going to re-roll 10d6, but I'm going to use my other lucky strike to cancel out any food bars.
Okay.
So roll 10d6. 1, 2, 3 successes.
Okay.
I will. Is there any benefit that I can do here to anybody, aside from just plugging it back into a lucky strike back into my pool?
In this instance, not so much, since your TC's already gone, your bow gunner's already gone. You could toss it over to your gunner, in a sense, like you're talking to him, telling him load this or do this for me.
I'll toss it over. I'll toss one over to my loader.
Okay.
You tell him to
so
load something.
Yeah, load another round of HE. Still troops in the open.
okay, so tell me what happens to that target, Wolf.
So the first time I hit the pedal, right, nothing happens. I kind of look down very quickly at it, re-sight in, kind of adjust it, and it's like, oh, good. I wasn't actually aiming where I needed to be. God's watching out after me, apparently, and I slammed that. I'm like, away! Come on, tank! And I launched that, and I hit that pedal again. HE hits right where it's supposed to be, blows off the entire ass end of that tank cut out.
Yep, and in the distance you see the silhouette just disintegrate, and it doesn't even need to drop down because it just kind of disappears. And so that was your slow action and your fast action.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a question.
No, I said yes. I said yes in
Okay.
agreement.
So you, once we get to your turn, Hades, you'll have a +1, okay? For your load. We skip Everett because he's already gone. And now we're up to Buddy Guy.
I don't really have anything I can do here, right? Or can I line up with the last silhouette there a little bit more?
Yeah, you would know that maybe you want to bring it back to the front to get more of a coverage on the field, or kind of almost like a reset. You're facing back front to be able to move if you have to, and you might just be lined up for the next shot. You don't know. So
Okay.
it'd be your call or on the TC's call.
All right. I will hold my turn until after Horner. Then. See what
Okay.
he's gonna do.
All right, Porter, you're up.
Horner's just slamming that next HE in the tube,
All right, roll it, baby.
and I just add 1 in the modifier.
Yes, for loading. Do you want to push it? Oh, sorry, roll 1 more d6 because of the bonus that Wolf gave you. So just in the chat, just type /roll 1d6.
When I rolled my heavy weapons, I put a 1 on the modifier. Did I do that wrong?
What did you roll through the tank or through your sheet?
Through the tank.
Okay, no, then it was rolled correctly. I'm sorry. So would you like to push? You have 2 duds right now that can turn into food bars.
No, because we got the tanks down, so I'm not going to push on a...
Okay. Okay, so you get so basically the way it works in the game for loaders, you load it up, but it's much slower than normal. So now that he's already shot, it's really not going to make any difference, but you do eventually get it loaded up.
Oh,
But
okay,
it's in the
then yeah, I do that. Whatever slowed me down, I got stuck pulling the... You have spent shells, right? That
Yeah,
you pulled
there's a
out?
basket underneath the gun.
Okay. So yeah, when I was pulling out the spent shell, I was trying to move too quick and got it hit. Finally pull it out and shove the new one in. HE in the tube.
And we're up to Buddy Guy.
All right. I don't have much to do at the moment, so I'm going to just sit here and then wait for further orders, basically, at this point. Just watching the show, things blowing up in front of me.
Yeah, so at this point, since it's initiative based, you're at the end of the initiative, or at the end of the round, basically. So if you want to do anything else, you can, or you basically just kind of give up your turn.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. All right. And so that takes us back up to the next round.
Actually, the tank commander wants you to drive us closer so he can hit them with his wrench.
I was gonna say, just pull out your sidearm there, buddy guy, and start shooting the close-ups on you.
So
against
that
the
takes
rules, I'll
us
do that.
to the top of the game. We're at 1:30 now, so we went over a little bit, which is okay. But I know we all have to get going, and some of us have to go to do work. So that concludes part of the first scenario, which was understanding the game mechanics and kind of learning it better to get you guys adjusted to working together and things like that. And then get used to your characters. So we will do a quick round robin, and then we'll do an end here. So we're going to start with the TC. TC, tell us what's going through your mind, and any other thoughts about the game so far.
He had his headphones off when you said that.
Oh, sorry. Were you talking to me? Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
so
thinking
With his helmet again.
yeah. It's just like a real thing in the tank. So yeah, tell me what's going through your TC's mind right now.
I enjoyed it. I like the breakup of actions. That, obviously, depending on what we're doing, it gives every member of the crew a chance to contribute. I think that's fun. Yeah, I think it's good.
Good. What's going through Kris's mind?
No, he wants to see this crew become more of a team, and he wants to do something about that sound system.
You can turn it down in your own foundry, my friend. You
can also nothing.
You know what, dude? I'm just looking out for you. This is the kind of shit. This is what happens whenever you go into combat with somebody. You try to help them, they act like an asshole towards you. It's cool. Whatever.
Someone's getting tied with the barrel later.
Someone's getting dropped later. All right. So then we're going to move on to the loader, our Corporal Bishop.
Not a loader, I'm a gunner. Jeez.
That's what I said.
I'm going to give you a load here in a second.
Tempt me with a good time.
Good. I think that the TC said it right. It's good to start getting the team a little bit together. We need practice together, and you start learning what everyone can do. I think we need to get Buddy Guy out there running this thing as hard as he can across the fields to see, so he can get a good feel good about what's going on. But everything seems to be okay. Nothing like the smell of cordite in the morning. Yeah.
And on next to our technician, 5th grade, or Corporal. Corporal's Corporal Buddy Guy.
Yeah, so Buddy Guy is feeling good. He's sitting in the driver's seat, got the nice cool breeze from driving along, and now he's just, like I said, watching the show as all the targets are blowing up in front of him, and enjoying that the smell of the diesel exhaust and all the spent shells.
Sand and spent shells.
Yeah. And onward to Private First Class, Calvin Horner, our loader.
That's me. For some reason, I thought you were doing Sweet Pea next, and just kind of echoed in my head. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's fun. I'm excited to get into a real tank battle and have it be more of a tense situation where we're all white knuckling and clenching up, trying to get those rounds downfield before they can hit us back. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. And on to our bow gunner, Mr. Sweet Pea, Everett Pines.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what Hades said there. Like I think this is gonna play a lot like a almost like a chess match, and I'm kind of excited to see how each person kind of finesses their part to facilitate the effective movements that it's going to take to win some of these battles, I think, and it's going to be really neat to see. I'm excited for it. Also, Everett, Everett's just he's feeling good. You know, he's all shots on target today. He's drawing his good cards. So, you know, not very often do you feel like you're kind of on top of it, but today he's not all shit shots count. Like he's on top of it, and he's kind of feeling good. So, really anxious to see how it goes. Obviously he's worked with the other three and pretty well versed in them. He just wants to understand how TC and the gunner is going to work out, and so far so good as far as he's concerned. I mean, it's all been good call outs and good shots, so he's liking the squad for sure.
And that is where we'll end for today. What's our next game? We still on for the 28th? Sev, do you know if you're a go on that yet?
I will have to get back to you on that. I forgot that we were doing the 28th too, but probably.
Okay. Other than that, right now that's what we're shooting for is Sunday the 28th, same time, 11 o'clock. No other games.
Same
currently?
tank time, same tank channel.
Yep, hip hop. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today as we brush off the dust and get used to doing stuff and playing again here. That's about it. So until next time, everybody. Bye. Have a beautiful time.
You need a way to end this.
Beautiful time.
You need to end this better with some kind of
so hold on.
related. You need a tank related pun, man.
We're back. We're back live.
Hey, how about and thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming by, everybody. Thanks for coming by.